What's up YouTube, and welcome back to the DIY Beard. My name's Jez and I'm the man behind the beard, and today we're going to be taking the XV950 for its first MOT since we've owned it and all the changes that we've made. So stay tuned and let's see if this bad boy passes. So for those of you that are new to the channel, please do go and hit that like button if you like this content, and please do and give this channel a quick subscribe if you don't mind, as it really does help the channel out. We do all motorcycle related content, so we've got a couple of builds going on, we've got some workshop modification, we are trying to get some rides out as soon as lockdowns come to an end, but anything motorcycle related, we're here to meet your needs. So, as I said to you before, today is the first MOT since we've had the XV950. Someone hooning about already. I can't believe it's been 12 months since we've had this bike. It feels like we only got it yesterday. We've obviously made a number of changes. I'll put a link in the description for those of you that are new into the build series that we've done on this bike. Now, generally, an MOT is not something that I would look to film. You know, it's a standard practice here in the UK to make sure that, you know, your motorbike is basically suitable to be on the road every 12 months. You know, they're checking things like, you know, light, tyres, anything mechanical, etc. But the reason I've chosen to do this is we've obviously made some, you know, huge changes to the bike itself. So we've got things like, if we come round here, we've got the LED bulb is a big one that I'm interested to see if that passes or not, just because of how bright it is itself. The other bit that I'm keen to have a look at is the exhaust. So I went probably middle of the year with Russ, who's got the Triumph Bonneville. He's got a Remus system on the bike, which I swear to God, I mean, slightly off topic, but I apologise in advance. As you can see, we're making some changes to the workshop. Stuff is everywhere, and I'm falling over it. So hopefully I don't break my neck while filming. I mean, awesome content for you guys. You get to see me fall over and make a tit of myself. However, not so good for me. Anyway, back to the exhaust. So, like I said, Ross took his exhaust to Triumph directly. They actually fitted the Remus system for him when he purchased the bike, and then gave him an advisory on it and said that the decibels was too loud. The other bit that I'm interested to see is the work that we did on the rear tail tidy. So, for those of you that are not in the UK, in relation to your number plate, there are a number of things that you have to have running. So, first of all is you have to have a rear number plate light. Well, we've got two. Unfortunately, the second one, we'll switch the bike on. It's not going to come on. Let's just cut there a moment while I try and work this out, because we may have encountered the first problem and the MOT's in about an hour. So guys, we are back, and it is actually a couple of weeks since we finished the last section of the video, and we'll get to why it's been a couple of weeks since we've given you guys an update. The burning question is, did she pass her MOT? And yes she did. She absolutely passed with flying colours. I couldn't have asked for a better MOT really. There was no advisories whatsoever. For those of you that do have the LED light and have asked before, yes, this is MOT compliant. I asked specifically at the test centre and said that I was worried about the light prior to going to there. He said it performed brilliantly. It's really, really bright, which I know because, you know, every time I ride behind, you know, friends that I go out with, they all comment that that's all they can see from behind them. They can also hear me coming from a mile off, which is quite good. But that's what they say, that this light is extremely bright. So it's good to know that cheap little upgrade that I know many of you have done is MOT compliant. The exhaust passed. There was no issues with how loud that was, which is also a great thing. So for you guys that wanted a Delcovic system, I definitely recommend that. The stainless steel itself is still holding up absolutely brilliantly. I've had that on the bike since, I think I'd purchased the bike in November last year, and it's been on over 12 months, well 12 months almost, and there's no rust, there's nothing, there's no tarnishing, and that's just with some basic cleaning really. And when I say basic, yes I do, put wax and polish on the remainder of the bike, but the exhaust, I just give it, soap and water basically. Now, as you saw before, we were having some severe problems with the rear tail tidy. So prior to the MOT, we had to put the standard one on. Now, the reason being is, obviously, the tail tidy we built has got two LED sort of lights where they're basically like nuts, really. And unfortunately, the wiring that I did on those previously just didn't hold up. It actually... so I touched the connection to see if I could wiggle it, the good old wiggle, and see if we could get that working again. It actually burnt me. It was extremely hot. And, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that if wiring is getting hot, there is an electrical problem. I'm really surprised it didn't blow any sort of fuse, but that needed addressing. Now, obviously, here in the UK, to remain compliant for MOT, you have to have a number plate light that is functioning, and because that light was not functioning whatsoever, it wouldn't pass, which is why we just put the standard rear tail tidy on. There was a reason we took that off though, which is because it is absolutely ugly, so we will be fixing it. And the reason it's been a couple of weeks is, what I want to try is these here. So they are solder seal wire connectors. Now I'll get one out and give you guys a closer look. But basically what it is it's a heat shrink tube with a piece of solder in the middle. You basically put the two pieces of wire in, one at each end, the metal bits in the middle, heat it up, the solder will melt and form a seal, and then that there should give you a good wiring connection. So it actually means you don't need to solder it. Now, for those of you that have used these before, they are great, they are a useful little tool. However, the wire that comes out the back of it is basically hair thin. So trying to get that a good joint against the standard connectors that come on the XV was near on impossible. And I thought that I'd got a good enough seal, a good enough join. However, it appears I didn't. So what we need to do is figure out how we're going to do that long term. Obviously, we need a rear number plate light. We can't ride around. The police will just, the moment they see that at night, they'll pull me over for it. We could risk it, but I don't want the hassle really. The bike's already obnoxious enough as it is with the bright headlight and the loud exhaust. So we're going to be fixing that today. So first things first, what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to bore you, you've seen it in the other video. I'm going to take the standard rear tail tidy off, get all the parts laid out, and then what we'll do is we'll test these connectors and see how they work. So we have the rear tail tidy off, and for those of you that didn't catch the previous video, basically it's quite easy to take off. There are two nuts and bolts that go just under the rear fender that fix in here, and then there is one either side, and then you've got the general wiring connection under there. Now this is already cut, we did that previously, and there is the standard connector, black and blue. Now I have previously checked, And on the new lights themselves, black corresponds to black and red corresponds to the blue, so we obviously need to get that wired up. And there you have it, guys. So, much neater, as you can see. These work incredibly well. I would highly recommend those. If I can find the link that I used on Amazon, what I'll do is I will post a link in the comment section below for you. But yeah, I am impressed. I suppose the fact that we're going to have orange bulbs is not exactly my cup of tea. However, means to an end. Like I said, the majority of the riding that we do is all in the day anyway. So we will we'll see how those look. But again, I'm not going to bore you with that. So by the magic of editing, what we're going to do is we'll click our fingers and you'll see the new tail tidy all in place. So she's all back together, as you can see, but does she work? So if we reach for the light, and as you can see, we have a fully functioning number plate light. Must not forget to turn this off before the battery goes out. But that is it. She is fully fresh with another 12-month MOT. The tail tidy works better than ever. Oh, she's a little bit dusty, but we'll address that later on down the line. This workshop overall, as I've said to you before, is having a bit of an overhaul. Sneak peek for the next episode. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you haven't already done so, guys, please do go and hit that subscribe button. I have been a bit crap lately at getting videos out. As I said to you before in the last video, it's been a mental 6 months really with the house renovations. I didn't want to bore you guys with that. It's house related. We love motorbikes here. So yeah, so we are going to get back on track. 2021 is ultimately going to be the year for the DIY beard. I've reached out to a couple of graphic designers to have a look at getting some new branding. I really want to push this channel. I've got some things in store, let's just say that. So like I said, please do go and hit that subscribe button. If you do want to see more content of the XV, there is a lot of XV950 owners out there. Yamaha Bolt, for those that are in the America. Go and hit the like button. I've said that we're going to move on to the GSXR build, but I ultimately love this bike and working on this bike. It is so easy. So if you are looking for content for the XV950, don't forget to hit that like button. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching and I'll catch you again soon.